Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. If you haven't mailed your school election ballot yet, it is too late. You'll need to drop it off in person.
Come tomorrow, voters across Montana will decide yes or no on school levies. Here in Billings, that vote means nearly $1 million in updated textbooks and tech for local high schools. In addition to School District 2's operational levy, other school districts in Yellowstone County are trying to pass levies and bonds to cover school improvements for their students. Q2's Mitch Laggy brings us an overview of other bonds and levies on Yellowstone County election ballots. Mitch.
Russ and Jeanelle, School District 2's nearly $1 million ask isn't the only thing people across the county will consider tomorrow. Voters in Laurel will be asked to vote on a $3 million levy, and Shepherd voters will decide whether or not to approve a $17 million bond. Here's what the districts are hoping to address if those levies pass. As of 3:30 p.m. Monday, the Yellowstone County Elections Office had received about half of the 82,000 ballots sent out to voters. Billings voters will decide on a $970,000 operational high school levy Monday. School District 2 Superintendent Greg Upham says Billings high schools have not been able to offer some advanced classes due to lack of facilities and instructional material. Students and teachers claim that textbooks in the Billings high schools are literally falling apart. Billings voters haven't passed a high school mill levy in 12 years. Heading to Laurel now, where district officials there are asking taxpayers for a $3 million building reserve levy. Superintendent Linda Filpula says $1 million of those dollars will be used at the Laurel High School for upgrades and deferred maintenance. The remaining $2 million would be used to buy land for a future elementary school. They also hope to upgrade building security at the high school. The Laurel High School currently does not have a secure entry system at the front door. And finally to Shepherd, where district officials are asking taxpayers for a $17 million bond. Shepherd Superintendent Scott Carter told Q2 in March that it has been nearly 30 years since major upgrades were made to the existing Shepherd School campus. Superintendent Carter also said the elementary school is at 110% capacity. Shepherd school officials want to build new structures to replace current ones, some of which have been condemned due to mold problems. As well, in the 2019 school election, keep an eye out on your ballot for school board elections. Laurel, Lockwood, Elysian, and Elder Grove are all asking voters to choose a person to represent them at the school board. And remember, if your ballot is still on the kitchen counter, you have run out of time to put it in the mail. To have your vote counted, make sure your ballot gets to a polling place or to the Yellowstone County Elections Office by 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Once again, that deadline, 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Russ and Jeanelle.
All right, thank you, Mitch.
Well, the annual War of the Walls competition has hit Master Lubes across Billings and Laurel, and as it pits schools against each other, it also helps secure an alcohol-free graduation night.
Let's take a look here. The murals each represent area high schools. Senior, West, Skyview, Central, and Laurel students all taking part in the annual competition. The students design and paint the murals themselves, which are on display until they're replaced with next year's designs. So far, more than 1,300 votes have been cast.
This Saturday is grad day for the local high schools. All Master Lube proceeds that day will go to the respective schools to help pay for each of their alcohol-free graduation parties. Voting ends on Wednesday at noon, and the winner will be announced Friday.
Over in Bozeman, the challenge to approve a mascot and color combination for the city's new high school continues, but seems the community and students seem to agree on a possible future color scheme for Gallatin High, black and royal blue. As for the mascot, of the 2,800 community responses, the Raptors are the favorite choice, with the Mountaineers in a close second. Out of 440 student responses, the Timberwolves are the top choice, but the Raptors also making it into the top spot in second. The results are now going back to committee with hopes of a recommendation in the coming weeks.
Well, the number of pertussis cases keeps rising in the Bitterroot Valley. The Missoula City County Health Department has now logged 52 confirmed whooping cough cases. Pertussis cases are confirmed in several Missoula County public schools, as well as Florence, Frenchtown, and Lolo.
A New York man accused of making false statements to the FBI in a terrorism investigation denied those charges in federal court today.
21-year-old Fabjan Alamedi traveled from New York to Montana in April when authorities arrested him at a shooting range in Bozeman. Now, police say he first made a stop in Billings and purchased an air rifle, before he traveled to Bozeman and illegally took possession of a firearm he rented.
Elametti pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of false statements to a federal officer in a matter involving terrorism and 1 count of possession of a firearm by an unlawful user of a controlled substance. Well, hundreds gathered on Sunday night to line the rims in red, that event to bring awareness to the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous people. Now the MSUB Native American Achievement Center is asking those in attendance to share their photos of the event in a social media contest. To enter your photos, you can post them to the MMIW March Facebook page, and you can find that link on our website.
Well, as we all gear up for the Montana Women's Run this Saturday, smaller racers across our community are prepping for a more petite race. The Montana Kids Run kicks off tomorrow night at 6 o'clock at the Rocky Mountain College outdoor track. Now, all kids ages 10 and under are welcome to compete, and it's free, and you get a t-shirt. And just show up a little early to sign the waiver. Distances range from 100 to 400 yards. 400 yards is once around the track. And it's not too late to sign up for the Montana Women's Run this Saturday, May 11th. The deadline is this Friday at 6 p.m. Packet pickup kicks off Wednesday at race headquarters in downtown Billings. You can head to womensrun.org to learn more and register.
And we're joined now by Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire. And Bob, looking ahead to this Saturday, you're saying the weather looks pretty promising.
Looking pretty good for Saturday. Now, tomorrow night's kind of iffy. We could see some rain showers moving from the west. They're going to come close to the Billings area, but I think it's only about a 20% chance of rain for the kids as they do the Montana Kids Run. Temperature's going to be fine at 6 o'clock, about 59 degrees. East wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. But what about the rest of the Montana Women's Run? It looks good, too. I mean, look at that, 49 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, mostly sunny skies. It'll be 52 degrees at 9 a.m. By noontime, it'll be 62 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And you notice by 3 p.m., we're talking temperature's going to be right around 67 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Usually we get some sort of rain event on the Montana Women's Run. And so what we will see is just some pretty nice looking stuff coming your way by the time Saturday and Sunday get here. We'll have more in your forecast in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Bob. Well, even as crews work to clear the Beartooth Highway, more snow keeps falling. Check out this video from earlier this month. Crews pushing or throwing snow to the sides in an effort to clear the iconic path. Snow levels vary, and the Montana Department of Transportation says drifts can reach a staggering 26 feet high. Now, the work started mid-April, and Mother Nature has not been lending a helping hand. The goal is to have the pass open Friday of Memorial Day weekend.
The Blackfeet Nation is looking at creating its own national park. MTN's Joe Husinga takes a look at the environmental and economic impact for the tribe and its lands.
Right now, the Blackfeet Nation is looking at new ways to manage the tribe's agricultural resources with a feasibility study on the creation of a Blackfeet conservation area.
When we think about a Blackfeet conservation area, it'll be in 2 phases. The first looks at the feasibility for the creation of a national park, which would allow us to put a swath of land into permanent conservation. We're also looking at a national prairie land designation that would preserve prairie lands and prairie grasses for rangeland.
Establishment of Blackfeet National Park could open the opportunity for the tribe to collect fees from the public to go toward resource management. The possible park area along the border of the Blackfeet Reservation and Glacier National Park would help protect one of the most intact ecosystems in the lower 48 states. It could also provide room for the tribe's goal of reestablishing free-roaming bison.
We could potentially look at connectivity between the Badger 2 Medicine and Chief Mountain that would allow for the reintroduction of E&E or bison back into the natural landscape.
Glacier National Park Superintendent Jeff Mao says while the tribal park would be solely controlled by the Blackfeet Nation, its goals of ecological and cultural preservation match with the mission of the National Park Service. He also says while there would be many details that need to be worked out, he hopes for a seamless border between the two parks.
Certainly for Glacier, we're suffering from the impacts of extremely high visitation. I think having a larger landscape to, provide opportunities for our visitors is really a good thing.
Along with the goal of a national park, the protection of tribal rangeland is seen as an advantage for production of grass-fed livestock.
It'll put the Blackfeet tribe in a position to better market their agriculture products, in this case beef or bison, at a much higher rate.
The mission of agricultural and environmental sustainability brings their dream of economic sustainability for the tribe closer to reality.
At the end of the day, you're talking about the tribe's ability to really be a sovereign nation, right? To really have the ability to underwrite all of their own functions, management functions, whatever it may be, so that they're not at the behest of cyclical funding or the federal government.
The ongoing feasibility study on the future of this landscape is expected to take 12 to 18 months. From the Blackfeet Nation, Joe Huizinga, MTN News.
Well, last night, we gave away the 2019 Billings St. Jude Dream Home live right here in the Q2 studios.
The lucky winner, Jason Christofferson of Billings.
Welcome to your new house.
Wow. The happy winner also comes along with wife Melissa and daughters 15-year-old Kira and 12-year-old Brooke. Now, all of them thrilled to tour their new home for the first time last night.
And again, we want to say thank you to all of our Q2 viewers for their support in this campaign. We raised $650,000 to help St. Jude fight pediatric cancer and other life-threatening illnesses.
Well, coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, from tariffs to Tiger, it was a busy day around the world. We'll bring you some of the highlights.
Plus, if you like the outdoors, ticks probably like you. Find out how you can prevent tick bites and illnesses.
And later in sports, seniors Tavy Findon brings speed and academics to the table as your next Athlete of the Year finalist.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.